and welcome to week 10 of our movie review series leading up to my epic adventure to Universal Studios and Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida next year. For this week's movie review, we will be discussing Frankenstein. All right, let's break down how this movie will be rated. There will be 5 categories, and each one of those categories will have a rating scale of 1 to 10. Plus, there will be a bonus category called Secret Sauce. The max that this movie can receive as far as points is 50 points, and the max they can receive as far as Secret Sauce is 5. Oh, and just like I did last week, I will be creating a time-lapse drawing inspired by the film, so be sure to stick around for that. So grab your creatures, because it's time for Frankenstein. We open in a gloomy graveyard where we meet Henry Frankenstein and his assistant Fritz as they dig up a freshly buried body. When they are finished, they also cut down a body from a noose. We next see Frankenstein's professor and mentor Dr. Walden teaching a class and displaying 2 brains in specimen jars. Only later that night to have Fritz break into the classroom to steal one of the brains. But he accidentally drops the normal brain and steals the criminal one instead. Inside an abandoned tower, Henry prepares his subject, his masterpiece. But his fiancée Elizabeth, best man Victor Moritz, and mentor Dr. Walden try to stop him. But Henry's obsession has gone too far. As a storm rages above the tower, Henry raises his creature into the sky. Lightning strikes the lifeless body, and as it is lowered, a hand twitches, and Henry shouts the immortal words,
"It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!"
Proud of his accomplishment, Frankenstein talks to Dr. Walden, only to learn that the brain Fritz stole was a criminal's brain. The creature emerges from the basement, and Frankenstein leads his creation into the light and instructs him to take a seat. At first, the creature is childlike and gentle, until Fritz torments him with fire. Terrified and confused, the creature lashes out and is taken back downstairs, only to be tormented again by Fritz. In an act of survival, the creature lashes out at Fritz and kills him. In shock over what he has created, Frankenstein consults with Dr. Walden on what they should do next. The two agree that sedating the creature might be the safest option for everyone. But when they approach with a syringe, the creature panics and fights back. A struggle breaks out, and though they manage to inject the sedative, it comes at a cost. Both men are left injured, and they realize just how dangerous this creation truly is. Frankenstein is taken back to the mansion to have his wounds addressed, while Dr. Walden takes notes on the creature, only to have the sedative wear off and the creature to eliminate Dr. Walden. Frankenstein's creation, now free, flees into the countryside and meets a little girl named Maria. They play by the water, tossing flowers, until, not understanding death, he throws her into the lake. Unaware of what has happened with the creature, Henry and Elizabeth's wedding plans are shattered when the monster invades their home, attacking Elizabeth before running away. Meanwhile, Maria's father carries her body through the town, an image that sparks outrage and grief amongst the villagers. Torches blaze as the villagers begin their hunt for the creature. Henry leads the group up a mountainside, and he is separated from the group. It is here that he comes face to face with the creature. The two have a fight, and Henry is knocked out, and his creation carries him to the top of the old windmill. When he awakes, he tries to escape, but the creature is not having it. The two have a fight, and Henry is tossed out the side of the windmill, hitting a fan blade, breaking his fall and saving his life. In anger, the villagers set the mill on fire. Flames consume everything. The creature screams, trapped inside the inferno. In the final scene, we see Henry recovering at home with his fiancée by his side, while his father toasts to the family's bright future. I think what makes this film so special is that the movie not only tells the story of tragedy and humanity, but it also captures the image and the look of the creature. I think also that this movie has a great message over nature versus nurture debate. And in turn, I feel like Frankenstein is actually the monster, not his creation.
And the final verdict is...
When it comes to the characters in Frankenstein, I've got to be honest, I was a little confused why Frankenstein's first name was Henry and not Victor. After I did a little bit more research, I found that Universal changed his name to Henry to sound a little bit more friendlier to American audiences. But it was a change that originally came from an earlier stage play by Peggy Webling. Funny enough, they swapped Henry's friend's name to Victor, who was originally Henry Clevel in the book. So yeah, that's not confusing at all. Now that we've established Frankenstein's first name, we can talk about him. He is really the ultimate mad scientist. He's brilliant, yet arrogant, and because of this arrogance, he's blind to the consequences of his own ambitions. And then you have his fiancée, Elizabeth. She's kind of the grounder, the humanity of the story in a way. And then you have his friend, Victor, and let's be honest, I think he's a little bit too friendly with Elizabeth.
I'm far too fond of you.
I wish you were.
And catch the red-handed! You're too Tom and Fuzzy!
And then you have Dr. Waldman, who kind of serves as the voice of reason. But the real heart of the story is the creature himself. Yes, he is frightening, and some say he is a monster, but it's not his fault. Frankenstein failed him. Instead of teaching or caring for his creation, he abandoned him, leaving the creature to act on his own instinct, sealing his tragic fate.
And the final verdict is...
When it comes to the soundtrack for the original 1931 Frankenstein, there actually wasn't one. The film relied entirely on ambient sounds, things like the crackling of thunder, the humming of electronical equipment, and the echo of footsteps to build tension. Those effects became iconic, especially the famous Castle Thunder. It wasn't until years later that composer Michael Shapiro created a full score to accompany the film in a live orchestra performance. But originally, it was the silence and the sound effects that made the horror feel real.
And the final verdict is...
When it comes to the visuals of Frankenstein, they truly set the standard for the entire monster movie genre. Jack Pierce's groundbreaking makeup, the flat head, neck bolts, and the heavy-lidded eyes transform Boris Karloff into a defining image of Frankenstein's creature and one of the most recognizable icons in film history. Director James Whale's Gothic sets, dramatic lighting, and shadowy cinematography gave this film its haunting mood, turning science and horror into an art. The use of light and shadows weren't just used for scares, they were also used for meaning. Scenes where the creature looks up towards the sky reflects a tragic, almost spiritual longing. These visuals didn't just build the horror, they gave the story an emotional depth, blending gothic romance with existential dread.
And the final verdict is...
When it comes to the cultural impact of the 1931's Frankenstein film, it's undeniable how much of a massive cultural impact it has had. The iconic imagery that we see in this film, such as the square-headed monster, the mad scientist, and the angry villagers, became kind of a blueprint for future monster movies. And the combination of James Whale's Gothic direction, influenced by German Expressism, defined the look, the tone, and the atmosphere of American horror cinema. From sequels to parodies, costumes, merchandise, and even theme park rides, Frankenstein has solidified its place as one of cinematography's greatest and most enduring classics.
And the final verdict is... And now secret sauce time. Does this movie have what it takes to deserve secret sauce? Final score.
Well, we managed to make it out alive with no bolts or angry mobs chasing us, so I think we did pretty well. If you found this video to be electrifying, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And make sure to subscribe to the channel because I have many more monster movie reviews coming up, so you don't want to miss out on that. But until next week, stay safe, and I will see you in next week's review. Bye!
That's for you, Kai.